The first thing I want you to let go of is caring what other people think about you. It's a complete waste of energy. Because I want you to imagine for a second that there's one person who disses you and who runs you down and who skinners behind your back. And there's another person over here who thinks you're absolutely magic. And we all have both of those people in our lives, right? We all do. Why would you believe the negative person? Why wouldn't you believe the person who thinks you're fabulous? So I've got a bit of a story on this. At the end of my, in government you work in contracts. And I was coming to the end of my first 3-year contract. And it was hard work running a state-owned enterprise. Tell me, it was hard work. And I had started it from scratch. And there was nobody to teach us what to do because no country in the world had developed a nation brand for tourism and investment. Some countries had done it for tourism, some countries had done it for investment, but there was no case study on what we were trying to achieve. And in fact, South Africa is now the case study around the world. And even though I've been gone for a very long time, I'm still consulted by many countries, India, Chile, many countries in Africa, on how to build their nation brand. So here we were, trying to do this complicated work. And it was hard. And I had a very, very challenging chairperson who made my life particularly difficult. And I was coming to the end of my 3-year contract, and I was thinking, am I up for another 3 years? Because I was working 24/7, 365. Often I'd have to finish a day's work, go home, get changed, get into gear, drive to Pretoria for really, really, really boring official functions with really bad food in the presidential guest house. And a lot of it was not fun. And I drove to Pretoria with this big debate going on in my head. Do I want this job for another 3 years or don't I? Do I, don't I? I wanted the job. I didn't want some of the stuff that went with it, as is most cases in life. Anyway, I arrive. I'm going to meet with Joel Netchitensi, who was the head of government communications, who is quite the most fabulous human being I have worked with in my entire career. The wisest, most cleverest, most dedicated. He is the person who epitomized for me a better life for all. That's what he truly believed in and what he truly tried to achieve with his work. And he was absolutely an inspiration to work with. Anyway, so I go to meet with him, and the whole way to Pretoria, I'm thinking, Yvonne, hold it together, hold it together, hold it together. You know what you've got to do. And I walk into Joel's office, and I burst into tears. And I could actually just have slapped myself. And I said, I can't do this job. It's too horrible. She makes it too difficult for me, and she attacks me, and she humiliates me. I'm feeling so sorry for myself. And Joel just looked at me, and he said, Yvonne, just stop. He said, there are people every single place we go who tell you that you are doing an amazing job. Why are you listening to the one who isn't? Why? And that was such an aha moment for me, because that's what we do. We might have all the evidence that we're doing a fantastic job, and one negative person speaks up, and where do we go? We go there. So I'm going to ask you to stop going there and to start going where the love is. Go and find the people who think you're fabulous, and leave the people who don't think you're fabulous. Because even I had a client this week who was really complaining to me that her parents, their favorite was her brother. And she'd spent her whole life thinking that she was not good enough because her parents preferred her brother. So I said, okay, I want you to write down on a piece of paper a percentage of how much you liked your mum and how much you liked your dad. So she stopped for a second and she gave me her 2 pieces of paper, and she liked her mum about 92%, and she liked her dad about 63%. And I said, well, that's it. So do you expect to love your parents both the same? And if you expect that, do you expect your parents to love you both the same? It sometimes doesn't happen like that. It's a myth, actually, that parents need to love their children the same. It's a myth. And those of you who are parents will know you have children you prefer. You might not admit it, but I'm a coach. You have to tell me this stuff. So my favorite quote, I've got 2 Churchill quotes for you tonight. My favorite quote from Winston Churchill is, you have enemies. Good. that means you stood up for something sometime. And I love that quote, because I've always been somebody who stood up for things. And I know that in standing up for things, there have definitely been people who have not liked me, who have not liked my opinion. And I've really got used to that. And I don't care a single jot if you don't like me. I really don't. Because I know how to go where the love is. I know there's a little puddle of love over here. I'm just going to come and talk to these girls because I know they love me. So that's the first thing you've got to give up, is caring what other people think about you.